Sanders story. According to Mary Kay Cabot, she does think when camp starts today that he has a legitimate shot to be the starting quarterback. So in my life, kind of being around the NFL, 30 years of doing this talk show stuff, covering the NFL, having sources and reporting on it, I don't think there's ever been a player where there's a wider variance of opinion between the media and NFL executives. The media, myself included, saw him as a B prospect, a good solid in a very, very weak quarterback draft class, certainly arguable first-round prospect, maybe a second, third-round talent, but solid, good family, DNA, moved well, historically accurate, good kid, not a bad kid, certainly a better prospect than first-rounder Kenny Pickett by far. I think a much safer prospect than Will Levis, who went second round to the Titans. I thought he was a solid B prospect, crazy accurate, bad offensive line in college, no run game, and against good teams was always productive without a lot of mistakes. And yet he slid to the 5th round. And there's an argument, I don't know, 6th or 7th rounder undrafted, if not for Jimmy Haslam, the impulsive and meddling Cleveland owner. So how he is viewed by the NFL and the professionals there, who I respect and trust, and how he's viewed by everybody else, it's an incredible gap. Bailey Zappi got drafted higher. So it's like Nomadland that won the Oscar, and the public had no interest in watching it. It made like $3.7 million. And not every Oscar winner is Oppenheimer or you name your Oscar winner that gets big gate. But like Nomadland was, Hollywood loved.
Okay, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders and not Academy Award winning movies. Yeah, I always appreciate Colin's metaphors and analogies. I honestly do. But I do want to jump into it and talk about Shedeur Sanders because, of course, he has a legitimate shot at the starting job. I mean, it's Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and then another rookie quarterback who was drafted. So, of course he has a shot. I mean, like, to me, that's obvious. That's very obvious. Is it likely that he will start week 1? Like, that's the better question, because saying that he has a shot at the starting job, that's like not really a take. It's really not. It sounds good, and I think people buy into it or get hypnotized to it because it's a nice little thumbnail and it's a nice little title. Like, I'm gonna make a video here and I'm gonna say Colin Cowherd confident Shedeur Sanders has a shot at starting job, right? Like, and we're gonna talk about it. And it's just like, yeah. I mean, but it doesn't mean that it really holds any weight to me, right? Like, because of course he has a chance. Of course, if he was in like in a tougher situation, where let's say it was Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, and then Shedeur Sanders. Let's just say it was last year before anyone got injured. They brought Sam Darnold over. They drafted J.J. McCarthy, and Shedeur Sanders was still available. And so Kevin O'Connell was like, yeah, we'll take Shedeur. And now they did it that way. That would be more interesting. If now you're kind of hearing whispers and you're seeing how, the summer's been unfolding and you're like, then I would be like, okay, then that title actually means something so much more profound to me. But saying you have a legitimate shot at starting quarterback when your main your main competition is Joe Flacco giving it one last hurrah and Kenny Pickett, what is that really saying? It's not really saying anything. It's just not. It really isn't. It's just not. And it's been so fascinating because Shedeur Sanders, leading up to the draft, during the draft, and after the draft for like a good month or two, really absolutely dominated the media. It was nonstop, to the point where I asked you guys directly. I was like, do you guys want me to keep talking about this? Like, I don't know. I don't really think there's a lot of stories here right now. If everything feels kind of forced, I don't really know what to do. And that's why I showed up, asked you guys, and I was like, if you guys are interested in keep talking about all this, like, let's do it. And then, of course, he had, like, the speeding ticket and all of that. And that was a different conversation entirely, especially considering what happened with Rashee Rice now. So it's like the conversation actually meant a little bit more. But, like, we haven't really heard much from him. And I know things, for the most part, kind of settled down with football right now because there's not, a lot going on in terms of like what there's like strong takeaways with what these players are doing, like OTAs, preseason, training camp, all that stuff. But there was still like it's still quieted down a significant amount. I was surprised to have the herd here and see like Shedeur Sanders. And that's what it feels like to me. A report like this is kind of like football, we're kind of hurting. This is probably like the worst time for football right now, July. Any of the extra buzz from the draft has already kind of worn out. There's no more lingering, no more real like trades or free agency or signings to really discuss right now. There's just not a lot of energy. We don't have a very popular rookie class right now like we had with Caleb, Jaden, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy. Like there was a lot of energy, even just a preseason. Like people were really excited to see what all those quarterbacks could do, even if just for a drive. And I actually talked about this the other day with someone, like even someone like Caleb Williams, who has like, one set of downs in a preseason game, and Bill Belichick makes a comment about it, and that's good enough to last everyone for the week. To like everyone discuss and talk about it and make, videos and shows about it. And we just don't have that this year. We just don't have that at all. And so to me, it's like, that's what a story like this is. Shedeur has legitimate shot at starting job. Okay. It's like, and like that's not news. If he had a legitimate shot at starting job and he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford on the last leg of it, right? Like almost even maybe a similar situation with Kirk Cousins, with Michael Penix. Like that's actually probably even a better example. Michael Penix is drafted in a situation that people were like, dude, they just paid Kirk Cousins $140 million, heavy guarantees. Yeah, he's coming off Achilles, but like, he's youngish relative for an old quarterback. He's obviously old, but like, he's not 42 is my point. So it was like, he should still have some juice left in him. And if you now heard like, hey, Shedeur Sanders has a legit shot at starting, you'd be like, oh, really? After they just paid Kirk Cousins $140 million? Like, that would be different. That would really actually be like, oh, whoa, what's the story here? Like, is Kirk Cousins not fully recovered? Is he just not good enough? Is Shedeur Sanders really impressing people that much? That's a story. That's a conversation. This, from my viewpoint, is not. It's just not. And I am excited to see him in preseason, actually. Preseason always has to be taken with a massive grain of salt. But, like, I don't know. I think if you fail in preseason, it's incredibly telling. If you succeed in preseason, you really have to zoom in and be like, what am I seeing? Yes, you're playing against inferior talent, but like, how comfortable do you look? How are you running the offense? How are you dealing with some of the pressure that you're facing in terms of like, like quarterback pressure, not like external pressure, the type of throws that you're making, the composure you're showing, like rather than just like, oh, he went 5 for 8 for 100 yards or something like that. That type of stuff means less to me than anything. But if you struggle, that is like, okay, that, if you're struggling in preseason, I don't care who you're around, unless maybe like your O-line is just getting absolutely tore to pieces, then we can kind of give you the benefit of the doubt a little bit. So like, I do think there is something interesting to gain from watching Shedeur. And so like, I am actually excited for that, and people will definitely feast on that for sure. But yeah, right now it's just like, I think everyone's hurting a little bit. Like Colin said this before, and he's just like, he's like, in my business, we're really just, there's football stories and just like waiting for football stories. And like, this is the waiting. We're in the waiting room right now. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Shedeur having a legitimate shot at the starting job for none other than the Cleveland Browns? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.